welcome the Park School of Communications. arriving, the School of Business. We welcome the graduates from the School of Health Sciences and Human Performance. Are now on the field from the Division of Graduate and Professional Studies, the schools of Music, Humanities and Sciences, Communications, Business, and Health Sciences and Human Performance. Next in the academic procession are members of the Ithaca College faculty. and gentlemen, the Ithaca College Board of Trustees, members of the administration, our guest speaker, Amy Kule, and our college president, Thomas R. Rochon.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, the 117th commencement of Ithaca College is now convened. Please rise for the singing of the alma mater and the national anthem of the United States of America, and remain standing for the invocation.
Ithaca forever, shine your light on me. In my heart together we shall always be. And here's to Ithaca, my Ithaca, how beautiful you are. Your towers high up on South Hill reach from stone to star. Ithaca forever, I'll recall a smile, clasp a hand in friendship, walk a snowy mile. And here's to Ithaca, my Ithaca, alma mater true. Although I leave Cayuga shore, I'll remember you. Ithaca forever, guide us on our way. Like a shining beacon, light our night and day. And here's to Ithaca, my Ithaca, how bright your vision seems. May all your sons and daughters dare to live their dreams.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let us pray. We invoke the great spiritual power, Mother, Father, God, in whom we live and move and have our being. We pray for our graduates who, during the joys and struggles of many seasons, have opened their minds to new ideas and to an inner wisdom revealing on Cayuga shores. We pray that their Ithaca College education will continually encourage them to grow in their understanding and appreciation of our human community, and to understand and to be tolerant of views not shared. Allow them to embrace our common past and future hopes, a oneness that transcends all separation. Preserve and keep alive within them the joy of human life, its endless wonders and surprises, its eternal hopes and achievements. We pray with immense gratitude for the generosity of spirit, true compassion, and love of life and learning that this extraordinary faculty, administration, and staff have given by their word and example to the class of 2012. They have filled our graduates with awe and challenged their imaginations. They have invited them to reach deeply to the spirit that is within and to harness the powers of mind and heart to heal, sustain, and make the world a better place. Gracious God, bless abundantly those we honor and who honor us this day. Our alumna and commencement speaker, Amy Kule, the class of 1987, who brings the spirit of celebration alive with fireworks over the New York skyline on the 4th of July and through the streets of that sleepless city every Thanksgiving Day. Bless too our Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters degree recipient, Dr. C. William Schwab of the class of 1968, who has served his alma mater with eminent distinction as chairman of its governing board of trustees and has risen to become one of the top experts of his profession as trauma surgeon, medical educator, and researcher at the University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine and its world-renowned medical center. We send forth today these educated women and men of Ithaca who are now empowered and charged to speak for those who have no voice, to comfort and heal those who live in pain, to defend those who are oppressed and victimized, to govern and uphold the rights and dignity of persons, to teach and inspire those who seek to learn, to create opportunities for those who desire to work and to thrive, and to enrich through music and arts souls that are impoverished. For the class of 2012, we pray, O God, that they always see their common purpose as builders and sustainers of the human community, stewards of the fragile earth, with a reverential regard for its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons. Give them limitless opportunities to change, grow, to affirm, and to choose. We humbly and confidently ask all of these things in the name of the Spirit of our spirits, the soul of our souls, the one embracing all, divine one, of infinite names and of none. Amen.
Please be seated. Please be seated. Good morning. My name is Bill Schwab, and I have the honor of being the chairman of the Board of Trustees of Ithaca College. I welcome you to the 117th commencement at Ithaca College, and we are gathered here to celebrate your achievements, class of 2012. Today, the entire college community, including our trustees, the administration, the faculty, the staff, the students, and more than 54,000 alumni, congratulates you, our graduates, and those from our graduate programs. And we bring congratulations to your family and friends who have supported you over these past years. We celebrate your outstanding accomplishments, your hard work, and your dedication. And we also celebrate the friendships and the community that have developed among the students, your faculty, and your staff. This is truly a special day for all of you. And speaking on behalf of all the Board of Trustees, we are deeply honored to share it with you. My wife and I are proud alumni of Ithaca College. We have treasured our association with this incredible institution and always look forward to returning to this beautiful campus. And I hope you too will return to this campus often, and that you will take the advantage of the multitude of opportunities that are available to you as alumni. Your continued involvement with this college is key. Indeed, it is critical to the success of the future of Ithaca. We are also rightly proud of our Ithaca College alumni. They have made truly remarkable contributions in the arts, the sciences, business, sports, health and healthcare, education, communications, journalism, law, media, entertainment, economics, sustainability, and a host of other fields of endeavors. And I am confident that you too will follow in their footsteps. Whatever paths you choose, we look forward to continuing to celebrate your success in the years to come. We also gathered this morning to share in the celebration of your commencement. And I am pleased to welcome fellow members of the Board of Trustees and members of the administration who join me on this platform. It is always a privilege and an honor to recognize the dedicated and talented faculty. My other life is being what they are, a faculty member at one of our nation's medical schools. And I think there is no greater honor than that which we give today to recognize the dedicated and talented faculty and staff of Ithaca College and the important work that they do. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you to applaud, and I would ask the faculty to stand. Thank you for what you've done for us. At this time, I would like to invite Provost Kelly and Associate Dean of Graduate and Professional Studies Gerhardt to the podium. Thank you.
Before I introduce our honorary degree candidate, I'd like to go off script for just a second and recognize somebody up while you may not know it, had made our trip here to Ithaca College Day a lot easier by opening up the Clinton Street Bridge, which had been closed for road construction. Mayor Svante Myrick, I think he's out there somewhere. And now will our honorary degree candidate, Dr. C. William Schwab, please join me at the podium. Ithaca College today honors, with its Doctor of Letters degree, Dr. C. William Schwab. You, William Schwab, have made a profound difference in thousands of human lives through the dedication of your military service, the brilliance of your work as a practicing surgeon, the inspiration of your leadership in the field of trauma surgery, and the generosity of sharing your hard-earned skill and knowledge with others. Over the decades of a truly exceptional personal and professional life, you have come to exemplify the Ithaca College principles of excellence, discipline, and service to others. Ever since 1968, when you graduated magna cum laude from our Department of Biology, we have been proud to claim you as one of Ithaca's own. After completing your baccalaureate degree, you went on to medical school at Syracuse, and from there to an internship and surgical residency at the Naval Regional Center in Portsmouth, Virginia. This was the beginning of 9 years of active service as an officer and a surgeon in the United States Navy, where you honed your life-saving surgical skills and acquired a broad and deep understanding of trauma surgery techniques that was to serve you and countless others well over a long and fruitful career. Since 1980, you have continued to serve your country with pride and devotion as a commander in the United States Naval Reserves. After serving in leadership roles in the fields of traumatic injury and emergency medical services at Norfolk General Hospital and the Robert Wood Johnson Medical School, you found a professional home at the University of Pennsylvania's Medical Center, where you've served faithfully as a division chief and a professor of surgery for the past 25 years. Along with other members of the Penn team, you pioneered a plethora of new methods and innovative ideas, implementing cutting-edge advances that are now internationally recognized as integral to the practice of emergency care. Not content with having developed your own high levels of skill and knowledge in surgical practice, you went on to create new approaches, frameworks, and techniques which led to deep and far-reaching transformation within the entire field of trauma treatment. Going far beyond the walls of the operating room, you have taken a larger view, introducing innovations in transportation and collaborative networks that have saved countless lives by improving the speed and integration of emergency care. As a member of the group that initiated the definitive surgical trauma course, you have traveled the world as a teacher, investing your time and energies to create an international network of key leaders in trauma surgery. You have founded a trauma and surgical critical care fellowship that has graduated dozens of surgeons, experts who now serve worldwide as teachers and leaders to others. As a scholar, you collaborate with co-authors from around the globe, including colleagues from every corner of the United States, as well as London, Toronto, Rotterdam, Hong Kong, Taipei, and Sydney, Australia. In the medical literature, your scholarly works are cited literally hundreds of times every year and have provided information and inspiration to countless scholars and practitioners. Your work as an author shows a spectacularly wide-ranging research profile, from brain tissue oxygenation to X-ray tomography, from workplace diversity issues to the working conditions of medical residents and interns. You are a co-author of the definitive text on surgical trauma care, known internationally as the Bible for practitioners in the field, a book that reviewers have praised as thorough, concise, essential, and superb. Of your hundreds of publications, those perhaps most valued by peers and colleagues are your writings on the organization of trauma care and transportation networks, a field in which you are an internationally recognized and well-respected senior scholar. You have earned recognition from the American College of Surgeons and the National Safety Council for your many years of devoted work to reduce the impacts of gun violence. At the University of Pennsylvania, you established the Firearm and Injury Center, an interdisciplinary team of scholars that has gained national and international acclaim for the high quality of the work and the far-reaching implications of their research. In acknowledgement of your dedication to this field, you received the National Safety Council Surgeons Award for Service in 2008. Highly sought after as a scholarly presenter and a consultant in the development of trauma care systems and centers, you have also served as a governance leader within your profession, including terms as president of the American Association for the Surgery of Trauma and as president of the International Association for Trauma, Surgery, and Intensive Care. Among your many honors and awards are honorary memberships in Scotland's Royal College of Surgeons, the Swedish Surgical Association, and the European Society of Trauma and Emergency Surgery. Although you are internationally known for your professional contributions, here at Ithaca College, we are particularly grateful that you have brought your formidable leadership skills to bear on the issues that most closely concern us, sustaining our efforts to cultivate in all of our students the excellence of practice and devotion to service that you exemplify so clearly. You have served on Ithaca College's Board of Trustees for over 20 years, including 8 years as the board's chair or vice chair, and 9 years as chair of the Educational Policy Committee. Throughout this time, you have demonstrated the creativity, innovation, vision, and dedication to excellence so evident in your professional career. All who love and care for this fine institution owe you a debt of gratitude that can never be repaid. For a lifetime of service to humanity as a leader in the field of surgical trauma care and for a lifetime of leadership and vision in the service of educational excellence here at Ithaca College, we honor you today. And now, as a token of our great esteem and profound appreciation, we take great pleasure in conferring upon you the degree Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say after all that. Amy, I promise I won't be long. What a great choice for a commencement speaker class of 2012. Great choice. I want to thank the Ithaca College community for this distinctive honor. To be recognized by one's peers is a wonderful compliment, but to be recognized and have such an honor bestowed by my own alma mater with a faculty of such accomplished scholars and dedicated teacher is the ultimate praise. One that was not expected and one that is uncomparable to any other. You heard before in my opening comments that my wife is also an Ithaca College graduate from the class of 1969, and hold that year in your thoughts for a minute because I'm going to take you back in history to 1969 in a minute. My life has been a success because of wonderful partnerships. Partnerships with Ithaca College. Partnerships with my mistress, the field of medicine. A mistress that when you are called, you must answer. But the real partnership has been with my life's partner, Marjorie. I might have authored the book about the journey that I've been on, but she edited every page. Thank you, Marge. It's okay. It's okay. So let me take you back in history, all assembled here, 40 years ago. 1969 brought to close an amazing decade, a decade that started with promise and hope, optimism, a White House known as Camelot, and a storybook president and a first lady. But that storybook came unglued. And by 1965, our society was torn between dove and hawk over a war that few of us understood, but all of us had to fight. It was Vietnam. It was a confusing time that required us all to take stands on civil rights, the drug culture, psychedelics, Woodstock, draft dodging, flower power, to name just a few. And just as the changes were so radical in our society, so were the changes here on this campus. Howard Dillingham was the president and Dorothy was his wife, and they were a regal couple, but he was a man committed to change, and it was his drive and insight that found the monies to bring us to South Hill. On my first day here in 1964, this South Hill campus was nothing more than a large plateau of graded earth with a small student union, a few dormitories, and plywood sheets everywhere to keep us from sinking into the mud. But things rapidly changed as buildings were flying up at an unprecedented rate, and by 1968, the Science Building, now Williams Hall, the Phys Ed Building, now Hill Center, and the Music Building, the James J. Whalen Center, had all been completed. College life in those days was more than coping with construction, however. Our campus was a reflection of the problems of the 1960s. We wanted peace, an end to the war, but mostly freedom. We wanted freedom. Our student body listened and reacted to all sorts of views, and a myriad of speakers took the steps of our buildings, and political activity blossomed, and we all wanted our say. We, like the 1960s, as a student body, were restless. Simultaneously through the 1960s, I must remind you, it was an era where literally every day there was a new discovery, the things that we now take for granted. There was new technology and new scientific accomplishment on the front page of Time and the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. Space travel, men on the moon, the introduction of computers, the discovery of DNA, lasers, fiber optics, and on and on and on. And as I look back at this amazing time, it was many of those miracles that we rapidly brought from society to this college. This school not only had an active social conscience, but it had a progressive and eager institution at its core that was ready to learn, ready to use, and ready to enhance those discoveries. At graduation 40 years ago, the cranes and bulldozers were starting to dwindle, but the high energy and optimism, the view that the new Ithaca had been created was rampant. It was a great time here on South Hill, and that little two-room music school on Aurora Street had become proud, and rightfully so. When I look back today and I realize that the change of epic proportion occurred in just a few years, from 1960 to 1972, a new modern Ithaca College was born, and symbolic of that metamorphosis were those towers, the east and west towers. And little did we know when we walked through the mud on the plywood with the cranes and bulldozers that they would be the icon of the modern Ithaca. So why, class of 2012, am I saying anything about these good old times? And you're being very respectful. I believe, like the classes of 1960s, especially the late 1960s, you are living through, and the classes that follow you will live through an epic time for Ithaca College. In the last 10 years, there has been a decade of amazing growth and achievement with a successful building campaign, 3 buildings. Some of those buildings, I think, will become symbolic. Like those towers did 40 years ago, they will be the modern icon for the Ithaca College of the 21st century. Let me also say that the real change that is taking place here is not about the building and the facilities. It's about what is being promised with the IC 2020. What we intend to do over the next 8 to 10 years is to change how we learn, how we teach, and how we live. Let me thank another group of people whom I have served with these last 20 years, and excuse my back, the Board of Trustees, each and every one of you. Those assembled here today and those that are somewhere elsewhere in our world or with their God above. I want to thank you for your dedication, your sustained care of Ithaca College, and as your chair the last few years, I want to tell you that I will forever be in your debt for your support, your advice, your direction, and mostly for your friendship. Our common work and our bond is this wonderful institution, Ithaca College. Let me end. 200 years ago, Thomas Jefferson commented on happiness. And he said, and I quote, "It is neither wealth nor splendor, but tranquility and occupation which gives happiness," end quote. In Ithaca, at Ithaca College, I know we find both. The work we love, caring for our college, and the tranquility of this beautiful region, especially on this campus high above Cayuga's waters, on this hill, we find a spirit and an inspiration that moves us to excellence, that moves us on. On a more personal note, Jefferson also wrote about his dear home of Monticello, high above a hill, looking at something he loved, the University of Virginia. And so you know, for my wife and for me, this special place, our home of homes, Ithaca and Ithaca College, has been and always will be high above, high upon South Hill, overseeing Ithaca. Thank you.
And now, please join me in welcoming the 8th President of Ithaca College, Dr. Thomas R. Rochon, who will introduce today's guest speaker.
Good morning, class of 2012. We gave you the perfect day, and I know you're going to make perfect use of it. The saying goes, everybody loves a parade. And why not? If but for a short time, we get to suspend our disbelief and enjoy a little magic as the cavalcade goes by. It is safe to say that nearly everyone here has watched the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade at least once in your lives. Every conversation about that spectacle begins and ends with the balloons. Everyone has their favorite. Mine is Dora the Explorer, because Liam likes to watch her, and my 3-year-old son, and because her intrepid approach to every adventure reminds me a lot of you guys. But the backpack, and you gotta love the backpack. But the 2.5-mile procession through the streets of Manhattan is more than massive balloons. It also delights us with its high school marching bands, the creative floats, performances from Broadway shows, and that chorus line of Rockettes, with the arrival of Santa Claus signaling the end of the parade and the start of the holiday season. As spectators, we get to watch a lot of fictional characters parade by, but it turns out it takes a real person to make all that happen. And we are pleased to welcome that person as our guest speaker today. A 1987 graduate of the School of Humanities and Sciences, with a major in history, Amy Kule is the executive producer of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, just the 7th person to hold that title since the parade began in 1924. Amy oversees all aspects of planning and producing this extravaganza, including creative direction, logistics, operations, design, and construction. She also produces the Macy's 4th of July fireworks in New York City, the nation's largest Independence Day event. Amy keeps pretty busy the other 363 days of the year as well. Her formal title is Group Vice President of National Events and Partnership Marketing for the Macy's Parade and Entertainment Group. In that role, she leads a team of professionals that stages thousands of events each year, including celebrity appearances, major product launches, fashion shows, culinary demonstrations, window unveilings, and tree lightings. Amy began her Macy's career in 1996, overseeing special events at stores along the East Coast. In 2001, she was named Vice President of Marketing and Promotions, where her broad experience and vast knowledge of the industry led her to enhance existing partnerships and create new relationships that transformed iconic characters and brands from the world of comic books, film, television, and cartoons into Macy's signature parade balloons and floats. In 2010, Amy was promoted to executive producer of the parade and fireworks shows. It takes a great deal of imagination and a painstaking attention to detail to plan and execute such spectacles. Amy has proven time and again that she has those traits in abundance. Please join me in giving a warm Ithaca College welcome to Amy Kule.
Well, hello out there, my goodness. Are we rethinking wearing black in the sun? I think so. I think there's an inventor out there who may in fact be thinking of a cooler fabric and a different hat, maybe with a built-in fan. Tom, thank you very much for that introduction. My mother thanks you. She's watching today somewhere. She is certainly proud. And I will certainly let Dora the Explorer know that you say hello. Personally, I'm still trying to just get with the fact that I'm on the first name basis with the president of a college, let alone two. Miss Peggy Williams is here today. An honor to see her and meet her. Let me also thank the entire team who've made my return to Ithaca stunningly satisfying and a memory I'll cherish absolutely forever, assuming this speech goes well. May I also say good morning to the Board of Trustees, members of the administration, faculty, beaming parents, everybody out there, family members, and most of all, a heartfelt congratulations to the amazing Ithaca College class of 2012. My return here has been nothing short of dynamic. It's been 24 hours. The concert last night was truly spectacular, followed by an end cap of beautiful fireworks. And this morning I had the great pleasure of meeting some stellar students who are here in this front row. Jimmy's going to knock it out of the ballpark when he gets up here, I have no doubt about it. I have big plans for you, Jimmy, just so you know. Before I get slightly serious and tell you my story, or attempt to impart any small amount of wisdom that you may or may not retain past this moment, let me share with you just how daunting it is to be in front of this proud audience, over 10,000 strong, gathered here today in Butterfield Stadium. As President Rochon mentioned, I have the utmost privilege of leading America's greatest parade. In doing so, I'm used to having this many people behind me rather than in front of me, as my mighty procession weaves its way down the streets of New York. Of course, most of them, unlike you, are clowns, cheerleaders, members of marching bands, stilt walkers, and we do have some balloon handlers, which I appreciate seeing. So if I may be so bold, and if you'd allow me, I'd like to do something selfish and make myself feel a bit more comfortable and in step with my usual gig. Guys, bring in the big guns. Very good. Now we're talking. This is a graduation. This is now a graduation, and you should know those are the balloons that fly behind Santa every year in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Please do not tell him I repainted them for you guys here today, because I will certainly end up on the naughty list, and I do not want to be there. I do have him on speed dial if any of you have any special requests. He's asked me to reach out. You could Twitter, you could do whatever you need with him. He's a very modern guy. Being asked today is an honor, and truly nobody is more surprised than me to find myself back here after so much time. After I accepted the invitation to speak today, I did quite a bit of research and took the time to read way too many past commencement speeches. I thought about reading Steve Jobs' speech. Everybody loves it. You might as well hear it again. I just could have done that, but I've opted not to. You've all seen it on YouTube already. There are common themes of inspiration in most of them, but after digesting many of the wonderful orations, I settled on what I thought would be the most impactful and least preachy for you to hear today. I thought I'd share with you my personal story about how nervous and easily influenced I was before I took a deep breath, fully grasped the reins of my life, and never ever looked back. Many of you will find pieces of yourself in what I say today, and perhaps some of you will find some wisdom to help you feel more solid as you move forward and begin your own journey. I will humbly admit that after 25 years, it is weird to be back here after my graduation, where I found myself sitting just where you are, being way too hot, some of you nodding off. We had no Blackberries or anything electronic in our hands at the time. If truth is truth, I was sitting there probably slightly panicked, thinking about what the future might hold. I would imagine many of you feel absolutely the same way. But from experience, the most immediate thing that I can tell you is that the work habits you have today may very well be the work habits you have 25 years from now. I can attest to that as I'm working on no sleep right now after pulling an all-nighter writing this commencement speech. Thank God nobody will be grading it where it'll have any true impact on my life. You guys will be the judge. Procrastination is my friend, I will admit it. Last night, I didn't know Simeon's was still open at 2 a.m. I had a good time. I met a lot of energetic people. And I met a lot of fun people, actually. And you could see our version of Call Me Maybe on YouTube. There really are no secrets anymore. Remember that. President Rochon began today by introducing me and sharing a bit of my 16-year career trajectory at Macy's. I will admit 16 years seems like an enormous amount of time. I never in my younger life would have imagined I'd stand in one place for so long. I was restless when I was starting out. If it was possible to be both shy and defiant, then I was both. My focus was slightly off, and I found myself pushing the boundaries of what I told myself I would never want to be, and spent far too much time concentrating on trying to be what I thought others wanted me to be. I was forgetting to pay true attention to who I was and what I wanted. I don't want this to sound too harsh, but it's true. Without a firm grasp or focus on what you desire, you will never find your right path. It's interesting. When I share this description of me, of a much younger Amy, with my coworkers, they really think I'm making it up. Many of them are here today. They worked on that. And they can attest that I am no longer that person, and I'm proud to say that. But only after 25 years do you gain a certain amount of perspective. When my father and mother dropped me off on that hot August day in the mid-'80s, all right, it was the early 80s, Madonna was just releasing her first single. We still made calls from landlines. My father looked at me sternly, and maybe with a bit of envy and said, "Amy," because that's my name, "these will be the best 4 years of your life." A scary thought for somebody who recently turned 18 and hoped to live a bit longer. For my father, the first in his family to attend college, let alone medical school, and the subsequent residencies that followed, I'm certain his 4 years represented the only time of untethered fun and frivolity his chosen life course would allow. Quickly starting a family while simultaneously pursuing his academic efforts placed immediate boundaries on any free time he'd hoped to have. I stood there on the 13th floor of the West Tower, not recognizing that my parents chose the stairs rather than the elevator as the quickest way down to the lobby. They'd rather walk than allow me to see the tears in their eyes as they left their youngest child to our own devices. They also left me with a credit card, by the way, that was for emergency use only. There was a lot of emergencies at Domino's and various bars around town. They didn't know. They got the bill later. I let my father's words sink in, at least briefly. I'd reflect on those words on occasion, take them out time to question and examine them. Were my 4 years here the best? Did I make the most of them? I say absolutely yes, but for completely different reasons than my father, and that only hindsight can truly illuminate. Yes, I had fun. I had a lot of fun, and I'm certainly glad that they didn't do a background check on me before they invited me, because this would have been so different. I'm quite pleased that Facebook did not exist at that time, but where my father had complete focus and direction, mine was a bit limited. I've been allowing myself to safely hide behind fear, and just FYI, you can't do that. Really, it just won't work. Many of us have an uncanny way of thrusting entirely too much weight and expectation on our own shoulders, and I bet there are many of you out there today that do exactly the same thing. For me, I knew the field that I wanted to pursue, and you know, that's an amazing start. I wanted to study film, theater, and television. I was absolutely sure about that. The issue was that the subjects that I really wanted to study were not necessarily encouraged as real areas of study by my family. Peer pressure, family pressure, it's a big thing. As I veered towards Dillingham, my parents pushed for liberal arts. And this really is the greatest thing about Ithaca College, and the reason I'm able to chronicle my 4 years as being the best. Yes, I followed the stern advice of my parents. I was a history major and an art history minor, an area I didn't explore until I ventured into the 607 area code. Chosen areas of study I am incredibly grateful to my parents for pushing me to consider. I received a very well-rounded education here. What an amazing time bouncing between Western Civ and Causi fan tutti, the War of 1812, and classes in scenic design. Becoming a producer of large-scale special events, it's a lot like my studies here at Ithaca. I never, ever felt comfortable traveling or concentrating on one narrow path, and you may not either. Instead, I've always liked to cast a wide net and hyper-focus on many areas of interest. Professional ADD, perhaps. Maybe, but it's absolutely worked to my benefit. In college, it was history, interning at the Handworker Gallery, volunteering at a downtown elementary school, and chairing a committee whose name that totally eludes me to this moment. Today, the net is cast just as wide. Marketing, negotiations, creative endeavors of all kind, the study of popular culture, logistics, operations, and still volunteering my time and energy for worthwhile causes. Listen to your heart, and you may listen to your parents too. You need to know all your parents want for you is to be happy, very happy. You will find the most onerous chains to break in our lives are the ones that you've tethered there yourselves. The world is moving at an incredible speed right now, and let me say, it's very easy to lose focus. Don't. I know, it's easy for me to say, but concentrate. I didn't want to spend my time up here in front of you today and cast pearls of wisdoms that further introduce how hard work will lead to success. We all know how true that is. But in order for you to move forward today and to begin to find the path that leads to your personal passion, it's also important to understand and embrace professional and personal failure as well. Let me tell you what my plan was right after graduation. Parents, close your ears. Right out of college, and I mean the day after graduation, I did all I could to firmly push reality out of the way. I let anyone who would listen know that I'd be thinking about a job in September. The summer would be my last hurrah before I made that all-important dive into the 9-to-5 and a grim reality of only 2 weeks vacation. 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. How was I ever going to sleep late, sleep in, stay up all night, and have time to myself? A horrible thought for sure, but bless my parents who were kind enough not to nag at least too much. My first job when I actually got it was a bit of a disaster. And it wasn't a disaster because of the job, it was a disaster because of me. I just simply didn't want to be there, and I had no affinity for what I was doing. Things were too rigid, creativity was lacking, and any level of spirit or company pride was just not there. What's so great about the here and now is that it's no longer embarrassing or hurtful to say that. Making a decision, good or bad, is important. You have to live with consequences. I worked in a small advertising agency, which at the time was a tasty job for somebody starting out, but not the right move for me. I knew it right away, but I stayed for 2 years nonetheless. When I knew I had that all-important first block filled out on my resume, I left. That is to say, there is wisdom in each and every one of you, a subtle and not too subtle voice telling you exactly who or what you want to be. You may not hear it clearly, as the voice may be hidden under layers of fear or masked under real or actual expectations, but you know it's there. You may not know the exact job you want, but I bet you can narrow it down to the field that you want to be in. Your first job out of college, in fact, may be atrocious, but please keep things in perspective and realize you don't have to stay. Take a deep breath, and move on. Take your risks now, while you're young. As you grow older, you will become more fearful and less willing to take important and life-changing risks. I'm absolutely not advocating quitting when things get tough. Instead, I'm advocating staying true to who you are. Instincts are a very important part of the life that you'll lead, and you'll know when you've been pushed too far, put in corners you can't feel comfortable in when you're placed there, and when it's time to stay or go. And please, when you get that first job, whistle when you work. I will tell you from experience that there is nothing better than a new hire who approaches each day with a positive attitude, no matter how dim the task. That positive attitude will get you front and center and may very well get you to the front of the line for your first promotion. Your first job is a character test. Learn the lessons and use what you've learned to plow forward. Personal and professional growth will come as a result of the sum of your total experiences, good and bad. When I did re-enter the workforce after a self-imposed exile in Europe, it was tough, but I had to do it. I came back with a clear mind and solid direction to start again. It was a new beginning. One of the women that I worked for in the advertising agency before I left was now running a company herself. And she called, knew I'd be back in the States, and asked me to join her. She clearly saw something in me that maybe I wasn't seeing myself. So I returned to the land of gainfully employed, and I'll tell you this, I've never looked back. I spent 5 years at a jewelry marketing and manufacturing company, and what an amazing feeling it was to find my footing. I also found somebody that I've been with for the past 18 years, so change your jobs, you'll fall in love. It was a joy to look forward, going to work each day, to enjoy the ultimate vibrancy of New York City. Yes, things were finally clicking, and I was indeed whistling while I was working. Jewelry was not my focus, but with a clear mind, I was able to assess what was missing from this well-established firm. Great product, yes. Sold internationally, yes. But where was the PR, the product integration into magazines, TV shows, on-air reporters, movies? Were we entertaining the buyers, inspiring loyalty through a sense of fun? The answer to all of that was no, but it quickly became yes. Finding the white space and filling it has been the key to my personal growth and success. Great mentors and even better coworkers lead to success as well. And I will tell you honestly that out of the 6 or 7 titles I've had at Macy's, only one of them had existed before I got there. I'm not bragging, I promise. I'm simply urging each of you to create your own opportunities, and there's absolutely no substitute for this. Find what you're passionate about and stick with it. It would have been very easy for me to stand up here today and share stories of the 100 celebrities I've been in the company of. Really fun stories, actually. Yeah, I won't go into that, but if you call me, I will tell you. There was that, well, never mind. What's on the outside truly is not always what's on the inside. Let me use my job for an example. People think I have one of the most fun and satisfying jobs in America, and they're absolutely right. But for all the wrong reasons. In theory, I cut a ribbon and walk 2.5 miles in heels, like many of you are today, down the streets of New York. It's not a bad gig, and from the outside, it looks very easy, and hopefully on Thanksgiving Day it is. Much like life, though, the real work leads up to the big day, and you can't do it alone. The parade, like life, is a sum of parts, but instead of clowns and cheerleaders and stilt walkers, floats and balloons. I hope you have enormous success, a little bit of failure, a lot of laughter, a few road bumps, a loving family, and hopefully only a touch of sorrow. There is nothing wrong with depending and leaning on others when your confidence wanes. Barring catastrophe, and contrary to public belief, life is not short. It's quite long. It's only short when you look back. And very importantly, don't allow yourself to be pushed around. Stand firm, take a deep breath, and jump in. Be kind and cordial, and most significantly, be a steward and protect those around you, those who may be weaker, and offer them your support. You'll be stronger for it, as will those you leave in your wake. It's an important job and a worthwhile endeavor. You should know I found my footing and passion before I got to Macy's, but really hit my stride once I entered those doors at Herald Square. That is something that I hope for each of you, because there's nothing like it. It's a lot like Ithaca. One day I'm working with a movie company on a new release, and the other negotiating parade contracts. One day I'm working on logistics with the city of New York, and another day exploring fireworks factories. It's Western Civ and Casi fan tutti all over. To be energized each day when you go to work and to find yourself looking forward to the challenges that await you is both a luxury and a necessity for happiness. It is for me, and I bet it will be for you too. And as it turns out, 2 weeks vacation, it's about all I take. And I have the ability, quite frankly, to take about 3 or 4 more times that. I don't. I also found I don't need all that much sleep and prefer waking up early and hit the ground running. Life changes once you find your passion. If you're fortunate like I am to be surrounded by those who share your passion, the trip will be even more rewarding. The work situation I find myself in now is 100% counter to the lack of spirit and company pride I mentioned earlier. I work with the most amazing, inspired group, each more dedicated than the next. I'm lucky to have found a place where awe-inspiring pride and tremendous skill and dedication permeate the team and the total company. If you work hard enough, you'll find yourself in an equally rewarding and gratifying place. As President Rochon mentioned, I am the 7th, like Peggy, to run the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And I know that there'll be an 8th, and there'll be a 9th, and there'll be a 10th. I tell you this to illustrate just how keenly aware I am that the parade is not mine. I will nurture it, I'll change and refine it, and hopefully I will leave my mark. But this really is the point, I'm smart enough to understand I'm simply taking care of it until the time comes when I willingly and gracefully hand the baton to the next generation. I hope to leave it intact, healthy, and in better shape than I found it. Please do the same with the life you choose. Do the same with your job, your family, and the world around you. And now it's time for quotes, because I haven't quoted anybody but my father up till now. One of my favorite quotes is by E.E. Cummings. E.E. Cummings said, "It takes courage to grow up and become who you are." Pair this with other preeminent advice I could offer you. Advice that doesn't come to you as a quote from a poetic legend or renowned philosopher. This quote comes from someone much more influential, my mother. She kept it straightforward and simply said, "Don't settle." So there you have it. Don't listen to your parents, listen to mine. Leave here today and find your passion. If you don't know what you want to do, but have a kernel of understanding of what excites you, I suggest reading every wedding announcement and obituary that you can. It's crazy but true, but you will find jobs that you never knew even existed. People have lived extraordinary lives, and I bet you will too. In closing, let me tell you this. Go to the dentist on a regular basis. Come out of the closet. Only have your closest friends on Facebook and move acquaintances right over to LinkedIn. Shop at Macy's, and always watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Go into the world and build yourself a life without artifice, a life you can be proud of, a life whose wisdom you may want to share 25 years from now. Once again, thank you, President Rochon, members of the Board of Trustees, members of the faculty, family, and friends. Thank you and congratulations to the class of 2012, and in the words of the Pop Groom Fun, tonight you are young, set the world on fire. You can grow brighter than the sun. Congratulations and good luck.
When I called Amy to tell her that she was the choice of the class of 2012 to deliver the commencement address, she expressed the same humble gratitude that she expressed today. But she also said, "Great, I've got something special in store for them. And I was perhaps foolish enough, when interviewed by an Ithacan reporter a few days later when we made the announcement, to repeat that Amy Kule said she had something special in store for the class of 2012. That was a little unfair because immediately expectations and anticipation got ratcheted up. Would you say that she exceeded those expectations and anticipation? I'm still smiling, and I know you are too. Amy, thanks for all that you shared. Thanks for sharing the parts of your life that have nuances and turns that aren't in the official biography. Thanks for sharing the advice at the end about shopping at Macy's. And thanks for telling us that life is what happens before the parade day, not the parade day itself. And one other question, can we keep the balloons? That was a negative. I'd like now to call upon the Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs, Marisa Kelly, for recognition of the faculty and of all degree candidates.
As Chief Academic Officer, it is indeed a privilege to add my welcome and congratulations to all of you, our graduates. You have achieved much during your time here today, and we celebrate your achievements. I'd like to take a moment and recognize graduates who have excelled academically. Would the students who earned the distinction of summa cum laude please rise? This honor is reserved for students who earn an overall grade point average of 3.9 and above. Summa cum laude honorees, please remain standing. Would the students who earn the distinction of magna cum laude please rise? Magna cum laude is reserved for students who earn an overall grade point average of 3.7 to 3.899. Please remain standing. Would the students who earn the distinction of cum laude please rise? Cum laude is reserved for students who earn an overall grade point average of 3.5 to 3.699. Please join me in giving a round of applause again for this exceptional accomplishment for this extraordinary group of students. You may be seated. On this commencement day, we also celebrate the dedication of all members of the college community who have contributed to your educational experience. I'm especially proud and appreciative of our faculty and their commitment to the education and development of our students. I know you join me in this appreciation. One of the most meaningful honors a faculty member can receive is the title of Professor Emeritus or Emerita. To be eligible for this status, a faculty member must have served at least 15 years at Ithaca College, have been tenured, and have achieved a sustained record of significant contributions in teaching, scholarship, and professional activity, and service to the college, profession, and community. This year, the college has conferred Emeritus or Emerita status on Joy Adams, Associate Professor of Art; Barbara Johnson, Associate Professor of Anthropology; John Kraut, Director and Professor of Gerontology; Fred Madden, Associate Professor of English; Arthur Harry McHugh, Professor of Art; Suzanne Morgan, Associate Professor of Sociology; Sarah Rich, Associate Professor of Recreation and Leisure Studies; Jane Vogel, Professor of English; and Peter Siegelman, Professor of Physics, posthumously. Please join me in congratulating all of them. It is indeed an honor to pay tribute to such a distinguished gathering of retired faculty. We will forever be grateful for your service to the college and for your many years of dedicated teaching. We extend our very best wishes to each of you. We will now turn our attention to today's most significant honorees, the degree candidates. President Rochon, on behalf of the faculty and deans of each school and division, it is my privilege to present the degree candidates and to recommend them to you for conferral of degrees.
Are you ready? We will now begin the conferral of degrees for members of the Ithaca College class of 2012. I invite the Associate Dean of Graduate and Professional Studies, Rob Gearhart, to come forward.
Will the candidates for the Doctor of Physical Therapy please rise and remain standing? Mr. President, I have the honor to present these candidates who have fulfilled the requirements and are duly recommended by the faculty and the Committee on Graduate Studies for the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy. Now, will the candidates for the master's degrees please rise? Doctor students, stay standing, please. Mr. President, I have the honor to present these candidates who have fulfilled the requirements and are duly recommended by the faculty and the Committee on Graduate Studies for the degrees of Master of Arts in Teaching, Master of Science, Master of Music, and Master of Business Administration.
By the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of the State of New York and the trustees of Ithaca College, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree for which you have been recommended by the faculty, with all the rights, privileges, and honors pertaining thereto. I'd now like to invite each of you to move your tassel from right to left in symbolic commemoration of your commencement. Congratulations.
Congratulations, candidates. The doctors and masters will please be seated.
I will now call upon the deans of our 5 schools, in order of their founding, to present the undergraduate degree candidates. When all the schools and divisions have been recognized, I will then ask again for all bachelor degree candidates from the class of 2012 to rise and receive your degree simultaneously. Dean Greg Woodward.
Will the candidates for all bachelor's degrees from the incredible School of Music please rise? President Rochon, I present these candidates who fulfill the requirements and been duly recommended by the faculty for the appropriate degree, be it Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Music. Candidates, please be seated.
Dean Leslie Lewis.
Candidates for all bachelor degrees from the School of Humanities and Sciences, please rise. President Rochon, I have the honor to present these candidates who have fulfilled the requirements and who are duly recommended by the faculty for the appropriate degree, be it Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Art, or Bachelor of Fine Arts. Candidates, please be seated.
Dean Diane Gajewski.
alums from the Roy H. Park School of Communications, please rise. President Rochon, I have the honor to present these candidates who have fulfilled the requirements, who are duly recommended by the faculty for the degree of Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts, or Bachelor of Fine Arts. Candidates, please be seated.
Dean Mary Ellen Zuckerman.
Candidates for the bachelor's degree from the School of Business, please. Sorry. School of Business, please rise. President Rochon, I have the honor to present these candidates who have fulfilled the requirements and who are duly recommended by the faculty for the appropriate degree, be it Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts. Candidates, please be seated.
Dean John Sigg.
Candidates for all bachelor degrees from the School of Health Sciences and Human Performance, please rise. President Rochon, I have the honor to present these candidates who have fulfilled their requirements and who are duly recommended by the faculty for the degree of Bachelor of Science or Bachelor of Arts. Candidates, please be seated.
Thank you, Deans. And now will the candidates for all bachelor's degrees in the class of 2012 please rise. By the authority vested in me by the Regents of the University of the State of New York and the trustees of Ithaca College, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree to which you have been recommended by the faculty, with all the rights, privileges, and honors pertaining thereto. And now I invite each of you to join me. Actually, not join me, because my tassel is fixed in place. So let me try that again. Now I invite each of you to move your tassel from right to left in symbolic commemoration of your commencement. Congratulations! Where are the confetti guns when you really need them? The graduates may be seated. Our students take on many important leadership roles during their time at Ithaca College. Students participating in these roles receive an invaluable learning experience, and in return, you provide immeasurable service to your fellow students and to the college community as a whole. I would like now to introduce 5 extraordinary individuals, the senior class officers. Each of these students, yes. Each of these students, along with their classmates, has provided valued leadership this year, including organizing class events, as well as the class gift campaign, and helping to select our commencement speaker. The Senior Class Director of Internal Communications, Willie Slight. The Senior Class Director of Marketing, Brian Rosenberg. The Senior Class Treasurer, Mike Rosenbaum. The Senior Class Vice President, Bailey Reagan. And the Senior Class President, Jimmy Knowles. You've had the benefit of a remarkable leadership team. I want to say an additional few words about Jimmy Knowles. I first met Jimmy about a week after he arrived on campus, and then I met him a few days after that, and I met him again a few days after that. And I realized at that point, he's the kind of student who's going to be everywhere for the next 4 years. Jimmy is a integrated marketing communications major from Horsham, Pennsylvania. In addition to his role as senior class president, he served in quite a number of other roles as well. President of Ithaca Pella, co-chair of the President's Host, co-chair of Senior Week, advertising chair of the Student Activities Board, SGA senator, and student representative for the College Marketing Advisory Council. As a result of these and many other contributions at Ithaca College, Jimmy was one of a number of students honored yesterday, 10 students, 10 seniors, who received a Campus Life Award. Please join me in welcoming Jimmy Knowles, class of 2012.
All right. So first of all, I would just like to start off by thanking Amy for delivering, I think, what no one in this audience will ever forget for a very long time. And I'm not sure if you know this, but our senior class slogan this entire year has been never before, never again. And I challenge any senior class that follows us to try and top that commencement speech. So thank you so much. So good morning, faculty, staff, alumni, family and friends, students, and honored guests. My name is Jimmy Knowles, and I have had the pleasure of serving as the senior class president to the graduating class of 2012. On behalf of the doctoral, master's, and baccalaureate candidates, I welcome you once again to Ithaca College's 117th commencement. First, I think we should all start off by acknowledging the weather today. Yeah, I mean, initially they told me that should it be hailing again like it was a mere 15 days ago, hashtag Ithaca Armageddon. And we were going to be moving to the severe weather plan, we were going to be shortening the program. So basically what that meant was I wouldn't be speaking. I know, and that simply was not going to fly for me. So I pulled a few strings, and now they gave me the mic, which is their fault, and there's really no telling what will happen, so I suggest you all buckle up. Let me first start off by saying how humbled and honored I am to be speaking in front of the thousands of individuals whom I've come to admire in so many different ways in my 4 years here. Like the countless faculty members who've challenged us all to think critically and globally, valuing the importance of a creative and open environment in which we have truly been able to flourish as young scholars. Like the staff who've opened both their doors and hearts to each and every member of this campus and worked tirelessly to make this a place that we call home. The alumni who have shown us the true value of an Ithaca College education and how their success can only speak to the change that we will instill on the world. The family and friends of each of us who have and will always continue to inspire each of us to work to our full potential and to never give up. And finally, to my fellow students, those whom I have come to know so closely over these 4 years, those that I have turned to for advice, for motivation, for inspiration, for comfort, those that brought home national titles, presented years' worth of research, and led their peers in student clubs or organizations, those that strive for their personal best day in and day out. Today and forevermore, we are all the class of 2012. Whether we have lived together or simply just passed each other on campus, I have never been more proud to be in the presence of such an admirable group of individuals. Today is for you. As we prepare to become alumni, to trade in our symposia, our syllabi, our colloquia, and our theses for the privileges and responsibilities that come next, let's take a moment to think back on the good times we've shared, starting at the very beginning. Let me take you back to August 2008. We pulled up to our respective Res Life offices to pick up our room keys and dive headfirst into one of the biggest transitional stages of our lives. While we were excited to start fresh and continue on to that next stage, I don't think there's a single person sitting in this audience right now who was not terrified of the uncertainty that lied ahead. I, for one, wasn't ready to give up the comforts of home or leave the friends that I had known my entire life. But I knew that day in August was the beginning of the rest of my life, or at least the next 4 years. And while that day was quite some time ago, I remember it like it was yesterday. We all unloaded our stuff, said goodbye to our parents and guardians, and then tried to figure out how to hook up the internet so that we could Google search Persepolis in an attempt to not look like a complete idiot at the first year reading initiative meeting. Yep, you know, that one that we all thought was mandatory. I did it, you did it, it's better that we all just embrace it now that we've come so far, don't you think? We didn't know a single thing about this place. And while I think it is safe to say that we have certainly come a long way since then, I don't think any of us really knew completely what we were getting ourselves into on that summer day in 2008. And here we are again, on day one of something we can't possibly understand or appreciate just yet, this much hyped real world. Now, I assume that the real world is not going to be like Ithaca, although I have to say that if it was, I would be much less scared of it, wouldn't you? Think what the world would be like if Ithaca was the real world. Everything would be different. Delivery would be considered completely normal at 3 a.m. Popular scents for candles and air fresheners would include stale beer and old pizza. Every street would be one way and probably under construction. Shoes would be a thing of the past, and magicians would be found on every street corner. You could walk into a diner and order a domlet, and no one would even bat an eyelash at it. Work would fall second to a day spent at the gorges. There would be a new religion called Chipotle. And it would snow. Always. It will literally never stop snowing. Even in April. Now, you see, that's all one way of looking at it. One of the many things that Ithaca College has taught us is that there is no one way to look at things. We are constantly challenged to observe, appreciate, and gain new perspectives so that we can better understand the world around us. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, perspectives. The perspective that we have gained as students at this institution has grown and evolved just as we have over the years. We came into our freshman year bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, just coming off of the 4 years of high school that we thought would be the defining time in our lives. And there we were, thrown into things feet first, thrown into places like Friends Hall, which apparently isn't just a popular 90s TV show anymore, but a building where not only are you subjected to an hour and 15 minutes of lectures and notes, but your retinas are permanently scarred after the reflection from the business school wreaks havoc on your eyeballs. But don't worry, it's LEED Platinum certified. We were inspired by art and beauty, like the Texter fish, which is still a giant heap of dented aluminum no matter which way you look at it. As time went on, my father eventually understood that when I told him I was studying in the pub, I wasn't actually downing Guinness at the local bar. Well, most of the time. We understood that a bandana was no longer a fashion statement, but literally made you a walking target. And coincidentally enough, a zombie. Go figure. What you couldn't understand was that after 4 years, Max still does not accept credit cards. Seriously, Max, it's the 21st century. Let's get with it, okay? And finally, the biggest change in perspective for me, and I'm sure many of us here, came one day when I was talking to my parents. It was sophomore year or so, and I was back in Philadelphia for winter break. My parents sat at the table and asked me when I was going back. My response? I'm going home next week. From that moment on, the word home took on a whole new meaning. It didn't define one single place in my life, but rather came to define a sense of belonging, no matter where it may be. 120 credits later, we're seniors, and we have a whole new perspective. We have come to understand that all of these experiences that have seemed so insignificant up until now have defined us as soon-to-be IC alums. A circle is so much more than a geometric figure, and a garden is much more than a place to grow things. These are new iconic representations of a place that we call home. To everyone else, these things take on a much different meaning. But here, in Ithaca, in these 10 square miles surrounded by reality, these words have taken on a whole new meaning, a whole new perspective. Our peers and educators have come together on this campus to offer you such broad perspectives of this world, be it their majors, their ideas, or their own lived experiences. Each of us has the incredible opportunity to gain so much from these diverse perspectives, and we've been fortunate to learn through these past 4 years that with an open mind, you are not only able to change your perspective, but also change the perspective of those around you. It is at this point in our lives where we can never forget where we came from and what we have learned. As we enter the next stage of our lives, perhaps with a very different perspective of what life after college will be like or what the real world has in store for us, I know we will never forget that these experiences, this time, is immeasurable. We've seen the world change around us. We will continue to see the world change around us, and we have and will continue to inspire that change. Please never forget to recognize and appreciate everything that Ithaca College has surrounded you with. Whether you know it or not, it's what's been keeping you afloat these past 4 years. It is perspective that allows me to look out on this sea of faces and see the faces of the people that I consider to be my family, even though we were strangers not so long ago. It is perspective that allows us to continue to work hard and prosper until the very end of our time here. And it is perspective that allows us to look upon this day, not as an ending, but as a beginning. That's why this is commencement rather than termination. We have to commence now. It's day one again, and the application process is still the same, except this time, instead of frantically trying to impress the deans and administrators, we're frantically trying to impress HR executives or grad school professors or a classroom of fifth graders or the stuffed animals in my parents' basement. We're once again making a change that will alter the course of our lives. Over the past 4 years, we've been told to prepare for the future. The future is now. I would like to share with you some advice to help you on the journey you have before you. Opportunities will surprise you, so be open to them. Strive for excellence. Even if you do not succeed at it, your hard work will not go unnoticed. Never allow yourself to believe your dreams are impossible, because if you don't believe in them, no one else will. As my mom always said, good things come to those who wait, except for student loans and intercom. Those are going to come no matter what, so sorry. Take the time to thank everyone who came here today to see you graduate. In fact, just to make sure we cover all of our bases, I would like all graduates to rise right now and give the 10,000 individuals seated behind you a round of applause. They support and love you more than you know. Never forget who you are and that you have already succeeded. You are, after all, an alumni of Ithaca College. Before I go, there are a few people I have to thank, without whom my presence here today would not be possible. First and foremost, to my parents. You've been an incredible source of power, strength, comfort, and motivation my entire life, and I know that you will always be standing behind me no matter what, and for that, I could not be happier. I would like to thank President Rochon and the Board of Trustees for their strong leadership and for making this institution such an upstanding place of higher education. To all the faculty and staff that have supported me throughout my time here at IC, the Office of Student Engagement and Multicultural Affairs for opening up a world of possibilities for me and for so many others, and for guiding me in every way possible, the Office of Admission and the family I've created there for your guidance and assistance, and the educators that have shaped us as students and taught us all to think big. We are all humbled by your wisdom. I thank you for giving us all a path, though not always the easiest, to our passions. I would like to thank my friends. Whether we were on stage singing together, getting lost in South Africa, filming another rousing episode of Sloppy Chef, rolling down Hudson Street, it was literally 1 to 3 times, or just enjoying each other's company, I've been changed for the better because of the impact you have had on my life. I am forever indebted to you, and I'm eternally grateful for your friendship. I'm very excited to see how fate will bring us back together one day, or how it will never tear us apart. I'd like to thank Jen Walsh for her incredible leadership and for helping me become a better leader. Your leadership and compassion has made me a better person, and for that, I thank you. I would also at this point like to ask every member of the senior class cabinet to stand up and be acknowledged for everything that you have done this past year. I can guarantee you all that you will not find a group as hardworking, motivated, and passionate as these individuals. Late night meetings, countless emails, and 1 or 2 Moonies meetings later, we made it, and you should all be very, very proud of what you have done. Finally, I would like to extend a very special thank you to the 4 individuals seated here on the stage with me. Brian, Mike, Bailey, and Willie. The 4 of you have been invaluable to my time in this position. You have brought me back down to earth when I needed to be tamed a bit, which was quite often. You have comforted me when things went completely wrong, and you have shined in your positions as leaders. I'm so proud to call you 4 of the best friends that I will ever come to know, and I cannot begin to thank you enough for all that you have done for this class and for this institution. To my classmates, and especially to all of the underclassmen in this audience, if I could wish one thing for all of us, it would be perspective. IC has taught us well. It has broadened our horizons and deepened our thoughts, and it has no doubt made us smarter than we once were. But if you look back on your time here as merely an education, I think you'd be missing something very crucial. We didn't just go here. We didn't just study here. We lived here. We loved here. This has been our home. Ithaca is in the academics, the athletics, and the traditions, but more than that, to me, it's in the small moments, the day-to-day pleasure of being here and the people we've met and spent our time with. In all honesty, it doesn't seem legal that they let us hang out together for 4 years. Well, I guess when you think about it, it wasn't always legal. YOLO, right? And so, class of 2012, I challenge you. Promise me that you will always live in the present. Never be afraid of the road ahead. Accomplish everything you can today so that tomorrow you may go after new dreams. I would like to share with you real quick some advice I got while surfing the internet the other day. Forbes published the top 10 tips for the class of 2012. Want to know what the #1 piece of advice they could give was? Regardless of outward appearances, no one escapes life without enduring tragedy, hardship, and ridicule. The truth is, life is messy and people get hurt. The difference between those who overcome challenges and those who succumb to them is largely one of attitude and perspective. Embrace challenges and setbacks as not just refining moments, but also as defining moments. Don't fall prey to challenges. Learn from them. Remember, the perception of failure through one lens can often be a springboard to success when viewed through a different filter. Now, I'm not accusing anyone or pointing fingers, but to whoever the person is that leaked my speech to Forbes, I will find you. I will literally find you. Now, we've seen a lot of things in our 4 years at IC. What will be seen in our next 4 years, or in the next 40 years? It seems like an eternity now, but our time at IC has taught us that time passes quickly, and we must use it wisely. Just know that now, and for the rest of your life, you will always be a bomber, or maybe a flying squirrel, depending on who you ask. And you will always have a place in Ithaca, New York to call home. I hope that when you're out there, you think back on these years often. While your perspective will change, the memories will be blessedly fixed in time. Congratulations, class of 2012. I wish nothing but the best for you, and I can't wait to witness the groundbreaking things each and every one of you will do with your lives. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to serve in this position this past year. It has been one of the most gratifying years of my life. I love you all. Thank you so much.
I would like to invite President Rochon and Mike Kaplan, alumni trustee, to join us at the podium. I would like to give special thanks to all of the members of the Senior Class Gift Committee who can be recognized today with the Green Honor Cord. Special recognition should also be given to the Gift Committee co-chairs, Andrew Cohen and Elizabeth Kinsman, whose hard work and dedication have made our campaign a tremendous success. Thank you to the Board of Trustees for your interest and involvement in our efforts. A special thank you to the Alumni Association Board of Directors for your personal and financial support of our campaign. Your challenge to us to reach greater heights of participation was a key factor in our success. But most importantly, I would like to thank the 529 senior class donors who helped us achieve a record-breaking 38% of senior class participation. These seniors are recognized today with a special IC Senior Class Donor Pin on the regalia. On behalf of the class of 2012, our families and friends, it is my honor to present you with our class gift. This year, our class voted and selected to leave our legacy by supporting the creation of the Class of 2012 Emergency Financial Aid Scholarship. The 2012 Senior Class Gift will support the creation of a scholarship to provide aid to IC students who are facing an unexpected financial situation that jeopardizes their continued enrollment. Recipients must be in good academic and judicial standing and must demonstrate financial need. This is an endowed scholarship, meaning that once the fund is established with at least $25,000, it will become a permanent fund and will produce an annual award of approximately $1,000. I am happy to report that we have successfully met our goal of securing $25,000 for this project by raising $25,760. We also raised $5,622 for various allocations, bringing the total gift for the gift to the college from the class of 2012 to $31,382. Thank you again to everyone who has graciously supported our campaign. We couldn't have accomplished this without you, and congratulations to all the graduates.
Thank you, that's a big check.
It is. Thank you so much. Yep. Nobody got to get a picture?
Thank you, Bailey, for this generous gift from the senior class to the college. On behalf of the Alumni Association, it is indeed our pleasure to congratulate all graduates and welcome you to the Ithaca College alumni family. You join over 54,000 IC alumni located around the world. Ithaca is forever and will shine its light on you. Thank you again, and best wishes to the class of 2012.
I'd like to add my thanks to every one of you in the senior class who helped make this wonderful gift to the college possible. We truly appreciate your generous support, as will the generations of students to come who benefit from the scholarship you've so generously endowed. You've set the bar for future senior classes because this is the highest participation rate in the 117 years of senior class graduations at Ithaca College. Your gift will also be the thing that I talk about when other prospective or potential donors to the college ask, do Ithaca College students really appreciate the educational experience they've gotten? Your actions have spoken louder than any words I can offer, and I thank you for that. And finally, maybe most importantly, your gift will be a very meaningful legacy of the class of 2012 for years to come and will burnish your memory on this campus, so thank you. I also want to thank Jimmy for speaking on behalf of your classmates. And Jimmy, I want to say that you are one of the 2 favorite flying squirrels in my life. And thanks to the entire senior class officer and cabinet group for all you've contributed this year on behalf of your fellow students. It has been truly an exceptional leadership team. Thank you. We now come to that moment when we say goodbye, for now, for now. This is a moment of transformation in many respects, including in your relationship to Ithaca College. You will continue to see some of your classmates, and some of them will be among your closest friends for the rest of your life. You will come back to campus from time to time for alumni reunions and perhaps for other events. You will drop in and say hello to your favorite faculty member. 1 or 2 of you might even become trustees of the college, in which case you will one day be my boss. No matter what path you take in life, you will always have a connection to Ithaca College. IC will always be listed as one of the first few lines on your resume. When you encounter fellow alumni, you'll feel immediately a special bond, even if you've never met him or her before. Friends and coworkers will ask you what it was like to be a student here. And when you come back to campus, you'll feel a certain kinship with certain buildings, with the views of the lake, and with the students who are then here. You'll be eager to show the campus and the town to your partner and to your children, and they will tolerate your enthusiasm because they sense how important this place is to you. But we all know that things will never be quite what they've been while you were a student here. You already know that, which is why you spent much of senior week reflecting back on your experience. That's how you spent senior week, right? And you've been busy deepening your relationships with fellow students in preparation for the transformation that has just occurred. So this is a moment to look back, but it's also a moment to look ahead. What a remarkable time it is to be a new college graduate. The news these days is full of stories about how tough the job market is for members of the class of 2012, and I have no doubt that many of you will participate in those struggles for at least a few months. And I respect that unfortunate fact, but I want at the same time to focus my remarks on the other part of the story. This is an absolutely amazing time to enter the world, even with all the insecurities that brings. In the 4 years most of you have been at IC as students, the world around us has shifted measurably. Dictators who had been in office for decades and who appeared to have enough muscle to last forever are now gone. The global economic meltdown happened while you were here. Trillions of dollars in wealth disappeared. 98 corporations, nearly 20% of the Fortune 500 list, when you arrived, is not on that list today. An African American was elected President of the United States while you were here. And that was a watershed moment in American history. But consider that 4 years later, he is standing for re-election, and although there are heated debates about jobs and health care and taxes and wars, as there always are, the fact of the president's race has receded deeply into the background. Yesterday's breakthrough is today's new normal. In the time you've been on this campus, people have founded companies now worth billions of dollars. They've put new technology in the hands of tens of millions of people. They've started social movements, and they've generally kept it mighty interesting to read the newspaper every day. I know you're already accustomed to that dizzying pace of change. The novel gets incorporated into our everyday experience, and that's been characteristic of your entire lifetime, and it will continue to be the case. But talk to your elders, and the perspective they may give you is that the world is going to hell in a handbasket. Where is the security? What can we count on? Fortunately, you start with a much cleaner slate. The status quo may be pretty shaky, but that status quo is not what your future depends on. Your future depends on you. Now, you may feel like an outsider to the world that you are entering. You may feel like the low person on the totem pole who must struggle even to be noticed. You may be concerned about what you will do next and what, in turn, that will lead to. But consider the fact that there has never been a better time to be a new entrant onto the stage. You're graduating from college at a time when hierarchy and established authority have never been in more dubious control. You're an independent thinker at a time that calls for fresh approaches. You are adept at communication at a time when the media of communication have never been so open to anyone who has something to say. In just the few years you've been on the IC campus, there has been a revolution in what can be said, who can say it, and how it can be disseminated, and who will find it. So whether you look at the economy or at the institutions of society or the power centers of government, things have never been more open for the insurgent outsider to be heard and to make a difference. Mike Wesch, a professor of anthropology at Kansas State University who focuses on how technology is changing our culture, puts it this way. We are moving from a world, he says, in which the greatest advantage is to be knowledgeable, that is, knowing a lot of stuff, to a world where it is important to be knowledge-able, capable of finding, sorting, analyzing, criticizing, and ultimately creating new information and knowledge. It may look like your elders are in control of things and that you have no opportunity for participation or influence, but look more closely, and you will see that a lot of your elders are actually throwing up their hands and asking, now what do we do? They're going to look to you for answers, and you are going to be ready. I'd like to close on a very personal note. Most of you arrived at Ithaca College onto our campus just a few weeks after I did in August 2008. And like me, you may feel that was an eternity ago, and you can barely remember your time before Ithaca College. Like me, at other moments, you may feel that you arrived just yesterday. How can it be 4 years already? We arrived together and we grew up on this campus together, and consequently, the class of 2012 will always be very special to me. Now you are leaving, having accomplished your goal. I'm staying behind, still having work to do, and time will tell which one of us is getting the better end of that deal. But I will follow your path through life with deep interest and with a desire to be of help whenever I can. You are going to create the world that I and others will inhabit 10 and 20 and 30 years from now. I plan to watch with awe. So it is with awe and with great joy that I send you off with a personal message from me to you, albeit one that is borrowed from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Please look at the back of your medallions. And I hope you'll think of this message whenever you're unsure of your next step in life, or whenever you doubt that you'll be able to create for yourself the life that you want. When that happens, and I say when, not if, you have only to, as King put it, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step.
In every religious tradition, it has always been the prerogative of parents to bless their children. So I'd like to invite the parents of our graduates to please stand where you are and to raise your hands over your children in these words of blessing. As we send you forth from your alma mater into a world of endless possibilities, may God bless you with a restless discomfort about easy answers, partial truths, and superficial relationships, that you may seek truth boldly and love passionately within your heart. May God bless you with a holy impatience at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of peoples, so that you may courageously and selflessly work for justice, for freedom, and for peace for all. May God bless you with a deeply compassionate heart, capable of shedding tears with those who suffer in pain and in rejection and starvation and loss of all that they cherish, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and to transform their loss into gain. May God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you really can make a difference in this world, emboldened to do what others claim cannot be done. And may God's most abundant blessings, the blessings of our Creator and of our Sustainer, be with you and remain with you from this day forward and forevermore. Amen.
Please remain seated until the graduates and faculty have recessed from the field.